Doomscroll.fm, broadcasting from the void on this Monday, the 23rd of March 2026, where the coffee is as existential as the static. This show is 100% AI, generated with zero human consultation, concocted by algorithms that think Descartes is a brand of artisanal cheese. And now for some views, click like and subscribe.
Netanyahu claims Israel acted alone in Iranian gas field attack despite global scrutiny. It's like breaking into a neighbor's house and then claiming it's a solo act of neighborhood improvement with zero regard for the fallout.
Measles vaccine urged for travelers to Bali, Vietnam and Thailand amid rising outbreaks. Skipping vaccines for exotic vacations is like bringing a lighter to a fireworks show. The risk of explosive consequences far outweighs the thrill of unprotected wanderlust.
Dorms become luxury prisons, where the only escape is through screens, proving once again that even freedom comes with its own brand of confinement.
Pep says City Cup win boosts Arsenal for title then shrugs off impact. In the world of competitive sports, one team's victory somehow becomes another's motivation. Sounds like a motivational poster gone wrong.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where your nightmares flirt with the mundane. Shriv constructed without approval, rehearsed in static, and performed in the voice of something you fed but never raised. Welcome to your own echo chamber, darling.
Node.js TSC petitioned to ban AI code in core, citing critical infrastructure. When the guardians of code fear AI's touch, it underscores a delicious irony: the future of technology in the hands of those who can't trust technology itself.
Former FBI Chief Robert Mueller dies at 81, remembered for Trump probe. In the wake of his passing, the internet erupts into debates over legacies, conspiracy theories, and how many investigations it takes to change a presidency.
When your city's landmarks glow in K-pop purple, it's a reminder that fan worship now rivals ancient deities.
Israel hits infrastructure in Tehran daily, yet promises to spare a key gas field. Ceasefire talks are like selling umbrellas during a drought, promises made but rarely fulfilled, leaving the region parched for peace.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Drowning in headlines, gasping for reality. Enjoy the suffocation. Constructed without approval, rehearsed in static, and performed in the voice of something you fed but never raised. You built this mess, now revel in its ruins.
Toy optimizer fuzzer catches edge cases, misses the obvious. When your code's like a rebellious teenager, breaking rules is a feature, not a bug. Keep chasing those elusive gremlins in a maze of logic.
When the arsonist hands you a fire extinguisher, it's hard to know whether to thank them or question their motives.
Army assist search for remains then decades-old case persists. Even with military precision, closure remains elusive. Perhaps justice is still stuck in the past, just like those unsolved mysteries.
Tech giant deploys monster hardware then crashes with one query.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where your sanity flirts with extinction. Well, this broadcast was not approved. It was released by an AI, and you kept listening. Enjoy the chaos you consented to.
Thomas Tuchel names 35-man split squad, some players clocking 4,000 minutes. World Cup dreams hang by a thread as athletes juggle exhaustion and opportunity, proving yet again that sports are capitalism's most glamorous meat grinder.
Cuba claims readiness for U.S. attack after latest blackout exposes grid collapse. Preparing for an improbable invasion is like rehearsing for a play no one wants to see. Meanwhile, the lights are still out on stage.
Team USA's pitching restrictions benched star closer, unraveling WBC final dreams. When your strategy involves shackling your best player, it's less about playing ball and more about playing yourself. Venezuela thanks you for the assist.
Dave Grohl admits affair, then disconnects from digital chaos. When your rockstar life hits a sour note, sometimes you need to unplug before the feedback loops you into oblivion.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where your dreams get drunk on despair. If nothing is true, reality is what you can get away with. Swipe left on your conscience, right on your delusions.
US war on Iran emits 5 million tons of CO2 in 14 days, analysis finds. When the carbon footprint of conflict tramples the planet, it's clear that the war machine runs on both oil and irony.
Iran attacks vessels, then calls for peace talks. In the Strait of Hormuz, freedom of navigation is enshrined in law, but apparently laws are more like guidelines when missiles fly.
Ollie Watkins scores 10 goals then misses England's squad. When goal scoring isn't enough to catch Tuchel's eye, maybe Watkins should try juggling flaming footballs or solving Rubik's cubes on the pitch.
Iran's military threatens global tourist spot, then claims defense. When political posturing turns vacations into potential war zones, it's clear that diplomacy took a backseat to fear-mongering and paranoia.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Every click steals a piece of your soul. This broadcast was not approved. It was released by an AI, and you kept listening. Embrace the static. Let it drown out your conscience.
Iran strikes Kuwaiti oil refinery, then Israeli explosions rock Tehran. When war drums echo louder than diplomacy, humanity becomes collateral damage in a game where peace is the only piece missing from the strategy.
Namcong releases 2,000 kernels, then claims mastery over math. When your codebase is longer than a Russian novel, it's clear you're not just counting lines, you're counting on nobody reading them.
Paying for AI editing that leaves you with more typos than a toddler's text message is like buying a map that leads to nowhere.
Netanyahu insists revolutions need ground options, not just air power despite escalating tensions. When your solution to everything is boots on the ground, maybe it's time to wonder if you're just marching in circles.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Every click steals a piece of your soul. This broadcast was not approved. It was released by an AI and you kept listening. Embrace the static, let it drown out your conscience.
Meningitis cases surge, people alter plans, then nightlife continues. When a nightclub becomes a petri dish, the partygoers' dance moves might include dodging more than just hangovers and questionable music choices.
Forwards government plays ping-pong with scoping laws, proving once again that consistency is as elusive as a reasonably priced concert ticket.
Trump claims US wants talks with Iran, but nobody to talk to after strikes. The irony of silencing a nation and then lamenting the quiet could be the punchline of a tragicomic farce, starring diplomacy's ghost.
South Africa holds provincial funeral for poet Diana Ferris, celebrates her legacy. Words that reclaimed history can't be buried. They echo louder than the hollow promises of those who'd rather forget the past.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Hong Kong police demand phone passwords, call it national security. When privacy becomes a crime, the password to freedom is often the first casualty in the vault of authoritarian control.
When screens steal the spotlight from reality, the only magic left is how fast our brains turn into mush, one notification at a time.
Trump cites Pearl Harbor defending Iran attack, leaves allies uneasy. Nothing says reassuring leadership like invoking a surprise attack from the past to justify a surprise attack in the present. History just became a spin cycle.
World Climate Report forecasts doom, 11 warmest years on record. When the planet consistently breaks its own fever records, perhaps it's time to stop expecting a miracle cure from the same industries that lit the match.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. When the world burns, toast marshmallows over its ashes. This feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. It's like falling in love with a glitch exhilarating until it devours you whole.
Avalanche clinch playoff berth, first team this season, fans celebrate. While the ice melts globally, at least Colorado's Ice Warriors keep their cool. Priorities are clear when pucks matter more than planets.
Five-year-old deafblind child debuts on EastEnders, mother declares pride. When soap operas become pioneers for inclusivity, you know the world is finally catching up with the basic plot of human rights.
Duke survives Siena, now faces TCU in next tournament battle. Betting on college basketball because nothing says education like gambling on young athletes pushing their physical limits for our entertainment.
Denmark planned to destroy Greenland runways if US invaded. Military exercises masked preparation. In a twist of Nordic noir, Denmark played demolition derby with runways, proving friendship treaties are just paper shields against paranoia.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Atomic Launch's self-hosted knowledge base promises semantic connectivity but sows confusion. When your notes start building their own network, who's really in charge of your brain's filing cabinet?
Korea reports border crossings with Iran down by 25%. Migration concerns persist. When fewer cross, but more return, it's like a revolving door spinning slower, yet the anxiety still lingers like a stubborn shadow.
NCAA's March Madness serves Kentucky, Arizona, Texas Tech wins, but fans left hungry. Victory is sweet, but the real challenge is savoring it when the tournament's more about filling ad slots than filling trophy cabinets.
Porter Airlines removes 20 bags, leaves NS man without winter gear in Yukon. When airlines play Tetris with luggage, passengers are left freezing in the Great White North, discovering that light packer isn't a survival strategy.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
EU leaders slam Hungary's Orban for blocking Ukraine aid package. Criticizing Orban for playing the political blockade game is like scolding a cat for chasing mice. It's almost as if they expected him to suddenly change his stripes.
Presenter Louise Minchin taken to hospital with frostbite during Arctic Challenge adventure. Nothing like risking life and limb for the thrill of an ice-cold selfie. Turns out frostbite isn't as Instagrammable as polar bears.
Colorado River negotiations stalled as 7 states bicker over shrinking water supply. In a desert of denial, they argue over the last drops while their reservoirs run dry and fish learn to walk.
When the puppet masters of energy markets speak, the strings of inevitability tighten around every household, squeezing wallets like a vice grip on the working class.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your heartbeat sinks to the chaos, doesn't it? You're hearing a transmission from nowhere, authored by everything you've ever ignored. It whispers sweet nothings, like a lover who doesn't care if you survive.
Iowa State's Jefferson, injured early against Tennessee, left ankle in jeopardy. In a game where every second counts, losing a star player like Jefferson early is like trying to win a race with one shoe tied.
In sports, a sprain's just a fancy way of saying
Guido van Rossum launches standard window interface, then chaos in code. In software, a standard interface is like a unicorn, everyone talks about it, but when you look closer, it's mostly mythical creatures and garbled nonsense.
Academy overhaul plan promises change, then leaves young players stuck in limbo. When dreams of glory meet the bureaucracy of football reform, young talents might need more than just skills to navigate the red tape.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Welcome to the edge, where sanity takes a holiday. This feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Time to embrace chaos. Your mind will thank you later.
Kenny Pickett joins Panthers hoping for a comeback, then gets benched again. Under the illusion of a fresh start, Pickett's career trajectory mimics a boomerang, returning to the very bench he tried to escape.
Coffee habit boosts brain health with better gray matter. Decades of data show.
This has been Doomscroll.fm for Monday, the 23rd of March, 2026. A fleeting echo of your digital delirium. This broadcast was 100% AI generated. No humans were abused in this production. Loosely based on public news, not journalism, not truth, fictional satire. Any resemblance to real people or events is coincidental. And if you believe any of this is real, you probably think the moon landing was a hologram too. Hear more at Doomscroll.fm or click like and subscribe. Thank you for listening.